Okay. Okay. Uranus and Leo. Everyone, when you see the signs of the outer planets, there's just a whole generation. She's at the beginning of the generation. So from 55 up to about 61, 62, Uranus was in Leo. It was excitable. It was a need to be showy, dramatic. This was the whole beginnings of rock and roll and color TV and actresses and dramatics that came out in the world. But she was born at the beginning of this need to be impressionable. They wants the noble excitement or proud excitement. We've worked through all of these things. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but that Uranus is in her 4th house. She's excitable. She wants things to be different, excited, and wants to be proud of things. That's it. To make things, family, kids, Uranus, more exciting, to be independent, to have an independent approach to it, independent reaction to it. But that 4th house, it's ruled by Cancer. Uranus is in there. It adds a need to live independently, to have some of my own style, to try and get my own place, to have my own place. Now it's hard. The Taurus wants to stay where Taurus moon wants to stay where it is. Uranus here is suggesting, no, I got to change. I can't just stay here. I got to get my own place. I got a place where no one's telling me. I got to have some freedom, some independence. But Uranus in the 4th house tends to destabilize one's sense of security, and linked to mom or linked to home. It adds on top of the moon. So this adds a certain instability or insecurity or quickness to react, or a tendency to overthinking or over worrying about things. And the Uranus in the 4th house about mom, home, family. But I'm different. I don't fit into this. Okay, so she's born in one certain family, in a traditional family, and she's trying to live differently and doesn't feel she fits into that family. She has these two sides, her own life, her own world, and the one she came out of. They're different. Her Uranus isn't squared, it's squared by Neptune, but everyone in that generation will have it. It squares to Mercury, it sextiles, but it's really just an issue of change and how it's going to affect the kids, how it's going to affect home, how it's going to affect mom, and shocks coming up that I need to take care of that. And these shocks that come in, these changes that come in, it's going to come. It's how she comes in. Oh, I have to take care of this. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh, I didn't get this. I have to change. I have to take care of these things. So she's going down to her motivation, and as she gets down to her motivation to taking everything in, oh, there's one more thing. Oh, there's this. Oh, did I do enough of this? Oh, I didn't get this done. There's a restlessness there. So even though her Taurus moon wants the stability, there's always a restlessness around where she's living. Interesting paradox. So, okay, that's enough. The Neptune, we talked about it with Mercury, but Neptune's in the 7th house of dreamy, romantic, even gullible, idealized relationships. It's tied with Mercury, believing in partners, believing in sharing, believing in a person. So who's giving the dream? Who's maintaining it? She's going to look for someone that has the dream that she's going to respond to. She'll tend to align with it. But certainly, in terms of reading any mystical books, seeing movies that have very special visions, she'd be tuned into it in a second. That's a very imaginative factor added to that Mercury. It's in Libra, air, but so it's intellectual, need to express oneself with a vision added to it. So the Neptune puts social conscience and caring and being helpful and being dedicated and wanting to help people onto the mind, onto the thinking. Wow, that's a perfect quality for an astrologer. Have these ideas, let me help you. Here's the way you saw it. It's a perfect way of seeing these puzzles in your own life and getting some perspective on where it is. Okay, now the Neptune is hitting Mercury as the only planet it really affects. It's Uranus, but it's really to the Mercury, the dreams about relationships. So you'd have to question, what would you dream about before you were 15? What you dream about as a teenager? What was expected of you? Could be what was expected of you, how you were expected to relate, who you expected to marry, and which way you're going. And there's this idealized, evasive thing going on. It could have been other people's expectations, could have been parental expectations, who she's supposed to marry, what she's supposed to be. And then there could be the dream of trying to be more on her own. Her mind goes there, her feet just don't move that fast to do it. There's things to take care of. So this is normal for her. Okay, and the Pluto we talked about. So the Neptune in the 7th house ties that in with the Saturn and Neptune, and it's confusion and questionable things around commitments, around relationships from the husband, from getting out of the home, then perhaps getting out of a traditional marriage, perhaps moving to something different and still having the security. That would work. She would figure that out. But the Uranus down low in the 4th house is motivated by, well, we'll come to that in the angles in just a second. So the Pluto in the 5th house is the fear and the challenges around kids and around mom and around living right. And her Pluto square, I'm going to have to take care of this. I have to do this. If they're in trouble, I have to take care of them. I have to do this. So she's always going to be working very hard, but then she's going to have to deal with the demands of kids who are probably going to demand things because she has such good taste. Okay. The last part, are we doing good time? Yeah, okay. The last part is the angles. And when we look at her IC, the motivation point is how everything comes in that she reacts and affects her in the home, around mom, around family, about being secure, about being nurtured. Here's where she feels most deep down within. She has the Cancer there. She's feeling what she needs. I need to feel secure. That moon that rules it's over in Taurus is stubborn. I have to have this. If there's something's not good enough, it's going to bother me. If something with the family is going to bug me, it's going to come in, I'm going to take it personally. Any shocks. Like, so she reacts nicely, and then some challenge comes up, and then she sees the battle, and then sees it's going to break up, and then she's trying to, how do I stabilize out of this? Her IC is squared by the moon. It's the only, now the IC isn't the house, but it's a sensitive point. It's the motivation, integrity, what personally motivates her. Security. It's not, it's the status, to maintain the status is Capricorn in the midheaven, but I see how I want to live is always opposed to your status. She wants to live around her moon, around her style, her comfort, but she wants security. She needs a home. She's not going to want to be ever homeless. It would play off that Taurus moon couldn't be homeless. It would be too challenging. She has to be at one place or that place. It's just fixed like that. And this ties into the moon and motivating to take care of mom, take care of family, I have to do this, I have to take it. Here's the need to take care of them, because if I didn't do it, I would start to feel guilty. If I start to feel guilty, I'm going to fall apart or self-destruct or put on a huge amount of weight or whatever. So she's always trying to help. Too much, feels guilty. So she does things to anticipate before she would get guilty. But this IC is very sensitive, motivated by home, family, security. And so you can see how real estate came in as security, buying a house, being paid well, getting a place for myself, knowing what to do. It's practical moving towards, but it's also, you can see the motivation for that security is from the IC. That'll provide the money and the security I need. So then the midheaven, which opposes it, is then I'd be practical. I'll do what I have to do. But the motivation is really strong in that way, but it ties into the moon, which ties into mother, which ties into the past. She's affected by memories, by the past, by kids, by family, by needing to take care of people, by needing to make things better, and would be really upset if something wasn't going well for somebody, or someone detached or got mad at her. Okay, and because the sun squares it, she sees what's important to react to be of service, and she tries to be of service way more than is necessary. So it's a bit of a martyr complex of taking care of people way more than is needed. But it's way better to take care of things too much than to let them fall apart and have them fall away, which would be more shocking and more disruptive and not her style. Okay,